Hair care nostalgia, the coolest retro gadgets that defined your style. It's the 1960s, and you're huddled under the covers trying not to move a muscle. Why? Because you've got a head full of rollers and you're desperately hoping your hair will come out looking like something straight out of a vintage Hollywood movie. If you've ever experienced that, or if you're simply curious about how our grandmas and moms achieved those iconic hairstyles, then you are in for a treat.
Dippity-Do. For setting your hair.
From Dippity-Do to orange juice can rollers, these throwback hair care gadgets are like time machines, taking us back to an era when beauty routines were a blend of creativity, patience, and a dash of, well, hair-raising adventure.
Super Tony is made for me because my hair is hard to wave, you see.
Home Permanence DIY Salon Waves. In the post-war era, home permanence became all the rage thanks to Tony and other brands. These companies introduced the idea of achieving salon-quality waves right in the comfort of your own home. It was a game changer for many women who couldn't always make it to the salon. However, what really set this trend apart was how it turned moms into amateur hairdressers. You see, while these moms may not have had formal hairstyling training, they were armed with boxes of home permanent kits and a can-do attitude. Now, picture the young girls of that time, especially as back to school or Easter rolled around. It was during these special occasions that many a mom decided it was time to give you a Tony, a phrase that could strike fear into the hearts of young girls everywhere. The experience of sitting in the kitchen, surrounded by the pungent scent of chemicals, while your mom did her best to curl your hair with those tiny pink rollers, is a memory many women from that era won't forget. Home permanents were a mixed bag, a way to save on salon costs, but often an adventure in trial and error, resulting in hairstyles that ranged from fabulous to, well, unforgettable.
Like her car, the lady's hair dryer is compact and fast. It's the new Lady Sunbeam Jet Set Hair Dryer.
Lady Sunbeam Hair Dryer, the hair-defying era. The Lady Sunbeam Hair Dryer was a vintage hair care appliance that gained popularity during the mid-20th century. It was known for its distinctive design, featuring a motor housed in a box-like unit, a cap that fit over the user's head, a connecting hose, and a cord compartment. This innovative device offered a convenient way for individuals to dry and style their hair at home, saving them trips to the salon. One of the key features of the Lady Sunbeam Hair Dryer was its ability to provide a consistent flow of hot air. But oh man, this thing took more than 20 minutes to dry hair. Users would place the cap on their head, ensuring a snug fit, and turn on the dryer. The warm air would circulate inside the cap, effectively drying the hair. The warm setting, which could get quite hot, was typically sufficient for the drying process, making it a time-efficient solution for achieving dry hair. This vintage hair dryer was particularly popular during an era when women often set their hair in various styles that required time-consuming drying processes. It significantly reduced the time needed to achieve the desired hairstyle, offering a more convenient alternative to air drying or relying on traditional handheld hair dryers, which were bulkier and less efficient. Electric rollers, the time-saving revolution.
Curlers on your head,
Shame on you.
curlers in your bed.
Shame on you.
So, you've probably heard the stories about women in the old days sporting rollers in their hair while going about their daily errands. It might sound a bit strange now, but back then, it was a common sight. First things first, imagine strolling through the supermarket checkout lane and a child sings out, "Curlers in your hair, shame on you!" Yes, that actually happened. Going out in public with rollers in your hair was considered a fashion faux pas back in the day. But for many busy housewives, covering their rollers with a scarf and continuing with their daily chores was a go-to move. They hoped that by the time evening rolled around, their hair would be dry and fabulous. Now, here's where the time-saving revolution comes in. In the late 1960s, Clairol, a household name in the world of hair care, introduced a game changer, electric rollers known as Kindness. These rollers promise to give you a head full of curls in about 20 minutes or so. No more sleeping with rollers in your hair. But hold on a second, there were a few challenges to overcome. These rollers took a good 10 minutes just to heat up, and they weren't as insulated as the rollers we have today. So they provided tiny foam wedges to place between your scalp and the hot curlers. Burned fingers were just a hazard of the instant beauty game. But for many women, it was a small price to pay for the convenience of a quicker hairdo. Safety was a concern when using these early electric rollers. Unlike today's models that come with advanced safety features, these vintage rollers didn't offer much in terms of insulation. That's why those foam wedges were so crucial in preventing burns. Which brings us to our next retro gadget, orange juice can rollers, DIY styling innovation. Back in the day, especially during the heyday of beehive and bouffant hairdos, people got creative with their styling tools. Girls cursed with straight hair used rinsed-out cans of frozen orange juice concentrate with both ends cut out as makeshift jumbo hair rollers. Now, here's the fun part. These cans weren't just for getting luscious curls, they also had a role in achieving that straight California surfer girl look. Imagine this. Blow dryers weren't commonplace back then, so getting your hair to behave often meant you had to resort to inventive solutions. If you were blessed with naturally curly hair and wanted a sleeker, straighter look, those cans came to the rescue. You'd roll your hair around them and hope for the best. On the flip side, if you had straight hair and craved some volume and curls, the same cans worked wonders. The beauty of it all was the sheer resourcefulness that emerged from the absence of modern conveniences. People made do with what they had, and those orange juice can rollers became a symbol of creativity in hairstyling. It's a reminder of how people back then were masters of improvisation, turning everyday items into tools of beauty and embracing a DIY spirit in their quest for the perfect hairstyle.
This year, fashion loves the big, big curl. The big, big curl loves Dippity-Do. Dippity-Do. Rollers cling to Dippity-Do. Never slip, never drip. Now rollers out, curl is in. Really in with Dippity-Do.
Dippity-Do, the infamous styling gel. It was like the Jurassic Park of hair care products, an historic styling gel that had its own unique charm. This stuff had a consistency that was more reminiscent of Jell-O than the lightweight gels we use today. Its primary mission? To make sure your hairdo stayed put, whether you were rocking hair rollers or trying to tame those rebellious bangs and flyaway hairs. And here's a fun tidbit. As a teen, Eric Carr, the drummer from the rock band Kiss, was a loyal Dippity-Do user. He'd slather his hair with the stuff every night, even going the extra mile by sleeping with a nylon stocking over his head to achieve that iconic Beatlesque mop top. Now, you might wonder why anyone would go through all that trouble. Well, back in the 1960s, beauty advice columns were dead set against washing your hair more than once a week. Can you believe it? So, Dippity-Do wasn't just a styling gel, it was a time-saving, hair-setting wizard that helped girlies maintain their looks between washes. So what are your thoughts on these retro gadgets? Comment down below, and while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Your support is what keeps us going.